published, 3:47 EDT, the 17th of May 2018, updated, 14:47 EDT, the 17th of May 2018. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have been pictured leaving Windsor Castle after a wedding rehearsal, just hours after the former actress was forced to confirm that her father would not walk her down the aisle. The American actress smiled as she arrived while her royal fiancé looked far more serious. She is said to be privately tearful and embarrassed about the chaos her father Thomas Markle has caused. The couple's Range Rover was escorted by police as they sped past crowds of well-wishers and up the famous long walk to oversee the last preparations for their wedding day. They also had tea with the Queen, who travelled from Buckingham Palace to take part in the dry run ceremony. Harry's brother William and his wife Kate were also seen leaving Kensington Palace for Windsor ahead of rehearsals this afternoon, which saw soldiers and an escort carriage parade along the planned route of the procession. Meghan's mother Doria Ragland, who is set to give her daughter away in her father's absence, has been taken on a 24-hour royal whirlwind, having tea with Prince Charles and the Duchess of Cornwall yesterday and meeting Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and their children, Prince George and Princess Charlotte, at Windsor today. Buckingham Palace confirmed that Doria will meet the Queen on Friday, with Prince Harry and Ms. Markle also set to attend. Mail Online understands the tea party at Clarence House yesterday was very jolly and Charles and Camilla got on extremely well with Doria. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle looked relaxed as their Range Rover took them from Windsor Castle after today's rehearsal. Meghan looked serene in the back of the car and even smiled despite the turmoil in the build-up to her wedding on Saturday. Prince Harry, 33, and his bride-to-be Meghan Markle, 36, are pictured leaving Windsor Castle after a dress rehearsal for their wedding at St. George's Chapel on Saturday. The prince was pictured beaming with Ms. Markle as they left Windsor Castle this afternoon following the wedding rehearsal. Her ex-husband Mr. Markle is in hospital today following heart surgery days after he embarrassed his daughter with a series of staged paparazzi photographs. After days of silence, Meghan was forced to make an extraordinary and moving statement confirming he will no longer walk her down the aisle at St. George's Chapel on Saturday. She said, "Sadly, my father will not be attending our wedding. I have always cared for my father and hope he can be given the space he needs to focus on his health." The former Suits star, 36, added, "I would like to thank everyone who has offered generous messages of support. Please know how much Harry and I look forward to sharing our special day with you on Saturday." Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are pictured arriving at Windsor Castle as she was forced to confirm that her father will not attend the royal wedding. Prince William is seen leaving Windsor Castle today during the final preparations for Saturday's royal wedding. The Queen has travelled to Windsor from Buckingham Palace today before a tea-time meeting and helping the couple with their final wedding preparations. William and Kate were also photographed leaving Kensington Palace as they followed the couple to Windsor for wedding rehearsals. Harry and Meghan's Range Rover was escorted by police as they sped past crowds of well-wishers and up the famous long walk to oversee the last preparations for their wedding day. Meghan Markle has described her sadness after revealing her father will not attend her wedding to Prince Harry. The Queen travelled from Buckingham Palace to Windsor Castle today to take part in the wedding rehearsal. Prince Philip has been recuperating there permanently since his hip operation last month, so is also likely to have been there. Her Majesty was set to host a traditional afternoon tea for Harry, Meghan and other guests, which she likes to take at 4 p.m. Thomas Markle, pictured this week, is recovering after he had 3 stents. Meghan Markle's father is alone and upset in hospital today after undergoing heart surgery. Thomas Markle is recovering after he had 3 stents implanted in arteries following a heart attack at home in Mexico 8 days ago and said, "It will take a long time to heal." Mr. Markle told TMZ last night, "I'm okay. Staying in the hospital a few more days. Not allowed to get excited," and his children said. He is heartbroken to miss the wedding. Mr. Markle said his doctors needed to go in and clear blockage, repair damage, and put a stent where it is needed during the operation. His daughter Samantha, who has a poor relationship with Meghan, claims her father is upset and alone following his surgery. But there is some confusion over his care, as sources close to the Markle family said he had already been diagnosed with a heart condition and was due to undergo planned surgery to fit a stent, the same operation Prince Philip underwent in 2011, early next week, on his return from London. Former staff have said she often drinks a cup of Earl Grey with no milk in her favorite bone china cup and saucer. This is served with a selection of crustless finger sandwiches such as cucumber, egg mayonnaise and ham and English mustard. She also likes jam pennies, small white sandwiches containing raspberry jam cut into the shape and size of an Old English penny, and staff are also asked to serve a selection of biscuits, including her favorites, rich tea, as well as scones and a sponge cake. Outside the castle today, thousands watched wedding rehearsals where soldiers, including Harry's former regiment, the Household Cavalry, marched through the streets. An escort landau carriage of the type set to carry the couple was also paraded past the castle. Preparations for the wedding have been thrown into chaos after Meghan's father repeatedly changed his mind about attending the event until his ill health made the trip to the UK impossible. Prince Harry's bride-to-be has still only shared texts with Thomas Markle, but has told him she loves him and forgives him for the scandal he caused on the eve of the biggest day of her life. Her father is said to be alone and upset in hospital after having 3 stents put in his heart. The 73-year-old has spoken to TMZ journalist Sean Mandel from his bed overnight, and he said, "Meghan was embarrassed and tearful in private. She is holding up, from what I've been told. It has been a tearful and a trying time for her." When asked if their relationship can recover, he said, "I do get the sense he, Thomas, does want to be reunited with Meghan. She's no stranger to having to deal with hard moments in her life. Mr. Markle may not be discharged before his daughter's wedding after he had 3 stents implanted in arteries following a heart attack at home in Mexico 8 days ago. He said, "It will take a long time to heal. I'm okay. staying in the hospital a few more days. Not allowed to get excited. Mr. Mandel told Good Morning Britain, Meghan called him Monday when the story first broke. But he did not have his phone on him, and then she texted him saying she loved him, that she was concerned over his health and bore him no ill will over the controversy of the fake photos. He, Thomas, told us we wanted to be there and had a change of heart on Tuesday after speaking with Meghan over text, and he felt he had pulled out prematurely. He had originally felt it would be better for him not to be at the wedding because it would cause further embarrassment, he thought, for the royal family, and for Meghan, which is the last thing he wanted. He realized, I'm a father, and I want to be there for my daughter, and I want to be part of history. Ultimately his health prevented him from being able to do that. But ultimately his health prevented him from doing that. He added, Meghan is by all accounts a very strong woman. From what Thomas has told me, there's just love being conveyed there and a gentle approach between them when they speak. Meghan, pictured with her retired father Thomas Markle, 73, in around 2000, says she still cares for her father despite the chaos he has caused ahead of her wedding day. The Ascot Landau carriage set to carry the couple was also paraded empty through the Berkshire town, with Harry and Meghan still at Kensington Palace today. Thousands have lined the streets of Windsor today to see the armed forces, including the household cavalry, pictured, marched through the Berkshire town during a dress rehearsal for the royal wedding. Charles and Camilla have been pictured leaving Kensington Palace by helicopter today. They met Meghan's mother Doria at Clarence House yesterday after she arrived from Los Angeles on the go. Meghan's mother Doria, pictured left, was picked up at her California home as she made her way to LAX on Tuesday and has since landed in the UK, where she is expected to give her daughter away. Her father Thomas Markle, pictured right last week, is recovering from heart surgery and will now not attend the wedding. Meghan's mother Doria was given VIP treatment when she landed at Heathrow yesterday and is expected to give her daughter away in her father's absence. Mr. Markle said his doctors needed to go in and clear blockage, repair damage, and put a stent where it is needed during the operation. His daughter Samantha, who has a poor relationship with Meghan, claims her father is upset and alone following his surgery. But there is some confusion over his care, as sources close to the Markle family told the Mail yesterday that Mr. Markle had already been diagnosed with a heart condition and was due to undergo planned surgery to fit a stent, the same operation Prince Philip underwent in 2011. Early next week, on his return from London, Doria flew into the UK on an overnight flight from Los Angeles yesterday. Dressed casually in a t-shirt, linen trousers and canvas pumps, and carrying a suit bag containing what is believed to be her Burberry wedding outfit, she was picked up from the steps of the aircraft by a Royal Fleet Jaguar. She was driven to Heathrow's VIP Windsor suite, where Harry's assistant private secretary Amy Pickerill was waiting with an immigration officer. A member of staff from the private office carried her bags. Miss Ragland, described as a free spirit by her daughter and amazing by Harry, was taken to Kensington Palace, where she will stay until Friday. On the night before the wedding, she and her daughter will move with the bridal party to historic Cliveden, a 25-minute drive from Windsor Castle. It is widely thought that now her former husband, with whom she is said to be barely on speaking terms, will fail to show. It will be Miss Ragland who has the task of walking her daughter down the aisle. Some royal insiders have also questioned whether Prince Charles might step in to do the honors. An aerial view of the procession today with Windsor Castle in the background showing thousands of people had lined the streets to come out to watch. Well-wishers lined the streets of Windsor as they watched the military rehearsal take place this afternoon. Members of the military, including soldiers from the Household Cavalry, pictured, marched the parade route today. Royal fans are gathering in Windsor today with just 48 hours to go until the wedding of the year. A young boy wearing a paper crown adorned with the Union flag joined thousands of others watching the event. A member of the Household Cavalry stares straight ahead as he leads the procession, left, along with his colleagues on horseback. Seamen from the Royal Marines Band Service took part in today's procession. Underneath clear blue skies and warm temperatures, the band of the Irish Guards play their instruments to the adoring crowds enjoying the warm weather today. The Household Cavalry leave the Victoria Barracks near Windsor Castle as rehearsals are underway for the royal wedding. The procession continued along the long walk leading back to Windsor Castle after it passed through the town. The procession heads along long walk to the gates of Windsor Castle. Police were also out in huge numbers ahead of a rehearsal in the Berkshire town today. Military personnel walked the processional route around Windsor Castle before the upcoming wedding. Armed officer on the long walk in front of Windsor Castle during a dress rehearsal ahead of Saturday's main event. Senior royal sources dismissed reports that the ongoing family soap opera had caused opprobrium in the royal family. Let's just say that this is a family well used to personal dramas and everyone feels desperately sorry for Meghan, particularly as it has all happened just days before her wedding day, said one. At the end of the day, her father is his own man and she cannot control him. Everyone could not be more supportive of her. Everything is going ahead as planned. Meghan Markle's estranged half-brother is the latest relative to turn up in their UK uninvited and called her a perfect princess weeks after advising Prince Harry to dump her. Thomas Markle Jr., 51, also said his father will be heartbroken to miss Saturday's wedding as he posed outside Windsor Castle last night. Mr. Markle revealed he believes his heart attack was triggered by an open letter his son, Thomas Jr., pictured, who flew into the UK last night. He recently penned an open letter and told Harry, as more time passes to your royal wedding, it became very clear that this is the biggest mistake in royal wedding history. He also described Meghan elsewhere as acting phony and claimed she was trying to reinvent herself as the new Princess Diana But as he arrived in the UK despite not getting a wedding invite, he appears to have changed his tune about his half-sister. He told the Daily Mirror, "My sister's going to be one of the best things ever to have happened to the royal family. She will be the perfect modern princess. I wish Meghan and Harry nothing but a happy and healthy future together." He added, "My dad will be heartbroken that he cannot be with Meg in Windsor to walk her down the aisle. He would have moved heaven and earth to be there." He also blamed the royal family for failing to give him guidance as he embarrassed his sister. He said, "My letter wasn't intended to cause hurt or upset. I'd hoped my letter might shame the palace, I guess, into getting in touch. I was wrong. It wasn't designed to humiliate Meg into inviting me, but more hoping we could get the help we needed." Ever since her relationship with Harry emerged 2 years ago, our lives have been changed forever. We needed guidance from the royals but didn't get it. Meanwhile, with no members of either side of Ms. Markle's family, apart from her mother, apparently attending Saturday's ceremony, the bride-to-be's more distant relatives were popping up to cash in on their 15 minutes of fame. Miss Markle's half-brother's ex-wife, Tracy Dooley, who has not spoken to the actress for 20 years, was enjoying a sightseeing tour of London with her two sons yesterday. They were due to appear as wedding pundits on ITV's Good Morning Britain, but last night a GMB spokesman said they had been pulled. One of Ms. Markle's nephews, Tyler, 25, who lives in Oregon, runs a legal cannabis farm and has created a royal wedding strain called Markle's Sparkle. The family are staying in a £70 a night hotel in Waterloo, central London. Meghan's best friend Jessica Mulroney has arrived with her 3 children, Ivy, Brian and John, who were yesterday announced as being among the couple's 10 bridesmaids and page boys. Her Suits co-stars have also started arriving in London, ahead of her wedding, set to take place at Windsor Castle on Saturday. Gabriel Macht and Rick Hoffman, who shoot their series in Toronto, each took to their Instagram accounts this week to share images of themselves both enjoying the English capital. 46-year-old Gabriel, who plays formidable star Harvey Specter on the show, uploaded a romantic snapshot of himself nuzzling his wife smiling Jacinda Barrett as they relaxed by the water in Hyde Park. The actor's wife of 14 years also shared some images of her own from their leisurely excursion at the central London park, which is just a stone's throw away from Meghan and Harry's residence at Kensington Palace. Harry and Meghan's rumoured matchmaker Misha Nunu has also touched down in London ahead of the royal wedding on Saturday. The designer, 31, shared a black and white snap of herself in the capital, along with the caption #WomanOnThego, in reference to her fashion label. Wearing a double-breasted blazer and pleated midi skirt, Misha looked typically chic as she posed for the Instagram picture. Meghan Markle's brother says she will be the perfect modern princess, days after he wrote an astonishing open letter telling Harry this is the biggest mistake in royal wedding history. Thomas Markle Jr., 51, has arrived in the UK and has changed his tune about his sister calling her the perfect modern princess. Meghan Markle's estranged half-brother has become the latest relative to turn up in the UK uninvited and called her a perfect princess weeks after advising Prince Harry to dump her. Thomas Markle Jr., 51, posed outside Windsor Castle last night and praised his sister despite spending much of his time calling their wedding a fake fairy tale. He also said his father Thomas will be heartbroken to miss Saturday's wedding because of heart surgery and the scandal of his paparazzi deal. Mr. Markle Jr. had recently penned an open letter and told Harry, as more time passes to your royal wedding, it became very clear that this is the biggest mistake in royal wedding history. He also described Meghan elsewhere as acting phony and claimed she was trying to reinvent herself as the new Princess Diana. But as he arrived in the UK yesterday, despite not getting a wedding invite, he appears to have changed his tune about his half-sister. He told the Daily Mirror, "My sister's going to be one of the best things ever to have happened to the royal family. She will be the perfect modern princess. I wish Meghan and Harry nothing but a happy and healthy future together." He added, "My dad will be heartbroken that he cannot be with Meg in Windsor to walk her down the aisle. He would have moved heaven and earth to be there." He also blamed the royal family for failing to give him guidance as he embarrassed his sister. Mr. Markle Jr. had recently penned an open letter and told Harry, as more time passes to your royal wedding, it became very clear that this is the biggest mistake in royal wedding history. Meghan, pictured with Harry on April 25, reportedly pleaded with her father to walk her down the aisle. He said, "My letter wasn't intended to cause hurt or upset. I'd hoped my letter might shame the palace. I guess into getting in touch. I was wrong. It wasn't designed to humiliate Meghan into inviting me, but more hoping we could get the help we needed." Ever since her relationship with Harry emerged 2 years ago, our lives have been changed forever. We needed guidance from the royals but didn't get it. Their father, Thomas, has heart problems and yesterday had surgery, so looks unlikely to be well enough to fly to the UK from his home in Mexico. US website TMZ, which claims to have been in contact with Mr. Markle all week, reported that he seemed alert and coherent and said doctors had implanted up to 3 stents in his blood vessels. He said, "I'm okay. It will take a long time to heal. Staying in the hospital a few more days. Not allowed to get excited. Miss Markle's nephew, Tyler Dooley, has said he hopes his grandfather will travel but said, "We'll just have to wait and see." Online critics have questioned the wording of Meghan Markle's statement concerning her father's absence at the royal wedding. The bride-to-be, 36, broke her silence as her father's continued medical treatment means he won't be able to walk her down the aisle at Windsor Castle. In a statement released by Kensington Palace this morning, the TV star said, "Sadly, my father will not be attending our wedding. I have always cared for my father and hope he can be given the space he needs to focus on his health. I would like to thank everyone who has offered generous messages of support. Please know how much Harry and I look forward to sharing our special day with you on Saturday." But no sooner had Kensington Palace released the statement, than some had started to question its wording. Twitter users questioned whether Meghan Markle's statement could have been better worded. Kensington Palace released the statement today in response to concerns over Meghan's father. One Twitter user said the statement suggested Meghan was already suppressing emotions like a proper British royal. Emigrant added, "I have always cared for my father. What is she? A droid? She can't even say she loves her own dad." She said that, if the statement was written by an aide in Kensington Palace, then Meghan should be writing in her own words. Another Twitter user responded, "I always cared for my father, come on." Meghan wears the word love. Celebrity blogger Perez Hilton tweeted, "Interesting wording. She says I have always cared for my father, not loved. Others were supportive of Meghan, insisting she is in a difficult position. Critics have suggested Meghan Markle could have used warmer wording in her statement. Doria's royal whirlwind. Meghan's mother is whisked straight from the airport to a jolly tea with Charles and Camilla, then spends the night at Kensington Palace. Meghan Markle's mother, Doria Ragland, has had the royal red carpet rolled out for her ahead of the royal wedding on Saturday. Hours after arriving in the UK yesterday, the bride's mother was treated to tea at Clarence House with Prince Charles and the Duchess of Cornwall, it can be revealed. Prince Harry and Meghan were there for the gathering, which took place in the late afternoon. Mail Online understands. The tea party was very jolly and Charles and Camilla got on extremely well with Doria. She then spent the night at Kensington Palace where Meghan and Harry currently live. Doria, 62, is expected to meet the Queen soon during a whirlwind introduction to the royal family after arriving from Los Angeles. Charles and Camilla have been pictured leaving Kensington Palace by helicopter today where they are expected to have met Meghan's mother Doria for the first time. The couple then flew to the National Arboretum in Staffordshire by helicopter, pictured, where a permanent national memorial to the British victims of overseas terrorism has been unveiled, an aide carrying a large bouquet of flowers following. Behind the royal couple during the flying visit, Miss Ragland is set to meet the Queen, pictured yesterday, for tea after some wedding preparations. It was unclear whether she joined Meghan and Harry as the couple took part in wedding rehearsals in Windsor today. She is widely tipped to walk her daughter down the aisle on Saturday after Meghan confirmed her father Thomas will not attend the royal wedding after days of chaos caused by his health and a paparazzi scandal. Prince Charles and Prince William are also among the favourites to give her away if she doesn't step in. Doria Ragland spent the night at Kensington Palace. After being reunited with her daughter yesterday, she was whisked off to the royal residence after touching down at Heathrow following a 10-hour flight from Los Angeles. The yoga teacher and social worker will now stay at the palace in West London until the day before the wedding on Saturday. On Friday evening she will move with the bridal party to the historic Cliveden House in Taplow, Berkshire, a 25-minute drive from Windsor Castle. After being rushed through a private VIP terminal in the US, Miss Ragland flew into Heathrow where she was met by some of Prince Harry's most trusted aides and taken to Kensington Palace by Royal Jaguar. The presence of Miss Ragland, who is extremely close to her daughter and still calls her Flower, will undoubtedly calm Miss Markle's nerves in what has been an unexpectedly fraught and hugely emotional week. Doria Ragland, pictured with Meghan, was whisked off to the royal residence after arriving in the UK yesterday. Miss Ragland is staying with her daughter at Kensington Palace, West London until the day before the wedding. Meghan Markle's sister has hit out at the palace for not helping her father after his heart attack, saying she had to send him money. Samantha Markle launched their astonishing attack on officials at Kensington Palace, saying she had to wire cash over to him following the operation. It comes as she suffered a suspected broken ankle and a fractured knee in a car crash on Wednesday, hours after she slammed the royal family for not supporting her father after his heart attack. Last night she joined her brother Thomas Markle Jr. in his criticism of the palace after she claimed her father was not offered support following his heart attack. She also claimed to have had to wire money to 73-year-old Thomas Markle so he could survive. Samantha Markle was photographed in the emergency room of a Florida hospital for TMZ last night after claiming she had broken her ankle. Meghan Markle's half-sister Samantha, left and right with the actress, has hit out at the palace for not helping her father after his heart attack, saying she had to send him money. Thomas Markle Jr. previously told The Mirror, "I wrote to Kensington Palace months ago asking for their aid. We've all been so overwhelmed by the attention and have found it difficult living under such scrutiny." He is in Windsor but is not invited to the wedding, along with her half-sister and fellow estranged family members. After months of infighting among them soured the occasion. Samantha, who had earlier astonishingly claimed she was behind her father's deal to stage photograph with a paparazzi agency, said his condition was life-threatening. He was upset. He wanted to go, but his doctor had the overruling opinion he needed surgery. So he's smart enough to know, this is life-threatening, Samantha told The Sun. She went on to dismiss reports that Kensington Palace had offered support for her father in Mexico and had not offered to fly him to London early or provide details on how he could get there. The sibling added, that is not true, or he would have been living in his place. He'd have a reliable vehicle. He'd have been with security. I have receipts showing I've sent my father money twice by MoneyGram because he needed it. There was no actual contact from Meghan, and she has not spoken with my father since the heart attack. I don't know why that is. I'm not blaming her. Millions of people across the country will be tuning in to watch the royal wedding live on TV. Live coverage of the day's events at Windsor Castle by the BBC will be presented by Kirsty Young, Hugh Edwards and Dermot O'Leary among others. Julie Etchingham and Philip Schofield will lead ITV's coverage. Sky News is screening the proceedings in ultra-high definition with K. Burley presenting from a special studio on the Long Walk. Here Mail Online provides an armchair guide to the royal wedding on Saturday, 9 a.m. Members of the public who have been invited to watch the wedding day from the grounds of Windsor Castle begin to arrive. 9:30 am wedding guests begin arriving at the castle's famous round tower by coach. They will enter St. George's Chapel through the south door and take their seats. Guests will be arriving at the round tower at Windsor Castle by coach and will be seen walking to the south door of St. George's Chapel from 9:30 a.m. The tower was closed to visitors in 1975 for major construction work and was underpinned to prevent subsidence, but instead of reopening to visitors, it was later converted into office space for the Royal Archives in 201111. 20 am members of the royal family begin arriving, entering via the Galilee porch, some on foot and others by car. 11:45 am Harry and his brother the Duke of Cambridge are expected to appear at the chapel's west steps, probably on foot, walking past the thousands of spectators invited into the grounds of the castle. This will give Harry an opportunity to acknowledge the 200 representatives from charities he is associated with gathered in the Horseshoe Cloister. At the bottom of the steps. 11:55 am following protocol, the Queen will be the last member of the royal family to arrive. Following protocol, the Queen will be the last member of the royal family to arrive at around 11:55 a.m. The service will start at noon and everyone will already know most of what to expect as the order of service is being released at midnight on Friday. Her Majesty is pictured left at garden party on Tuesday and right attending the first day of the Royal Windsor Horse Show. 11:59 am with the minutes to go. Meghan Markle is expected to turn up at the chapel's west steps by car, from her overnight accommodation, with some of her bridesmaids and page boys. She will start her journey, which will take her past some of the crowds in the Long Walk, with her mother Doria Ragland, but when the car stops At the castle her mother will exchange places with her bridesmaids and page boys, including Princess Charlotte and Prince George. Ms. Ragland will enter the chapel by the Galilee porch. Noon the service starts. Everyone will already know most of what to expect as the order of service is being released at midnight on Friday. 1 p.m. The newlyweds will emerge about an hour later at the west steps of the chapel. They will be waved off on their carriage procession through Windsor by members of both families. The congregation will file out of their chapel to see the newlyweds leave before heading to St. George's Hall for the lunchtime reception hosted by the Queen. The carriage procession through the streets of Windsor is expected to take about 25 minutes. The congregation will file out of the chapel to see the newlyweds leave before heading to St. George's Hall for the lunchtime reception hosted by the Queen. 7 p.m. The reception is not being televised and neither is there evening reception at Frogmore House, but viewers will get another glimpse of the royal couple when they leave Windsor Castle at 7 p.m. for the evening do, which is hosted by the Prince of Wales.